Earlier, I asked a question about stoicism. Is our expectation that men need to be stoic harming our mental well-being? But I wanted to explore the other side of that. Is teaching men they should be more sensitive, emotional, or nurturing the real answer? We've been hearing that men need to get better at the things women seem to do more naturally. But is this actually true? I'm curious to find out. So to get some clarity on this, I sat down with Dr. Andrew Blackwood, a mental health counselor, to get his perspective. Take a look. Dr. Blackwood, thank you so much for joining us. I'm curious, in the topic of men's mental health, there's a huge debate right now in society, and I see it even with my friend group, where men talking about their feelings versus men not talking about their feelings and the benefits and negatives of both. Do you find that there's empirical evidence that men talking about their feelings is more beneficial for them, for their mental health?
There is definitely a benefit for talking about your feelings. However, what's important to understand is it's not just talking about your feelings, it's about how you're talking about your feelings and who you're talking to about those feelings. Someone who is prepared to listen and listen well will help you realize the way that you speak is informing the way that you think, and the way that you think informs the way that you feel, and the way that you feel informs the way that you live. So you can talk about your emotions in a way that reinforces whatever unpleasant experience you're having, or you can be helped to realize, you know what, when I'm thinking about this particular way, it intensifies this particular emotion. It's not about whether or not we talk, it's about how we talk that really leads us to helpful and healing experiences.
And do you think that our responses to our mental health are more biological, or do you feel that it's more learned behavior?
Well, I think it's a combination. It's definitely not one over the other, and people are different. So the ratio might be different for one person than it is for the other. But the way I see it, those terms nature and nurture, I think it's important for us to nurture our nature. It's important to know who you are as an individual and to care for that person, because what one person can do and tolerate, another person won't do as well or won't tolerate as well. So it's important for us to know ourselves and care for ourselves as individuals.
How would you define healthy masculinity?
Mm. Well, to me, it looks different in every man that I meet and every person that I speak to. Um, but I would define it as knowing who you are, valuing who you are, and endeavoring to be the best version of yourself, because my masculinity is going to look different than my brother's, because we are different people. We have different strengths. So me being able to see my strengths and value them, that leads to the best expression of my masculinity.
Dr. Blackwood, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me.
My pleasure.
Now, Anthony, you spoke highly of in this episode about men finding a balance, and I'm curious how we can do that. Dr. Blackwood spoke of men nurturing their nature, which I thought was an interesting point. What else stood out to you in his interview?
I agreed with probably everything he said. Everybody's different. Everyone's masculinity looks different, and how we approach situations look different. I loved when he said, "You are what you think, you are how you speak," because I've always said that about people. The way people communicate their feelings, there's a huge correlation to that. And who decided why is there one definition of what masculinity should be?
Do you feel like we should have a line, though? Brian, what do you think?
Of course. That's the two words that stood out to me were how and who.
Yes.
So the flip side of the previous segment for me is who I go to are my guys. They're men. They roughly feel the same things. And how is, I'm not going to talk about an angry situation right away.
Mhm.
I need to bring myself down and
that's
control my
part
emotion.
of the humility part that you brought up as well.
Exactly.
Matt, what are your thoughts?
I think what Dr. Blackwood, when he said it's all about how you communicate it. And like anything in life, it's like, anyone can do real estate, anyone can do a show, anyone can do whatever, but it's all about how you do it. And it's all about how you communicate your feelings with that. And I think that men just need to know how to go about doing that, and maybe whether that's publicly, privately, or whatever works from them. And we're all different, and that's how I think it should be.
So last question, Brian, I'm curious to hear your thoughts. How do we break some cultural barriers, of men not expressing at all to bringing in some sort of balance?
For me, it's mentorship. You need somebody that's older, that's been through life, that's, hey, these are what I'm going through right now. Are these normal? Are these things that I should be experiencing?
So you have an outlet.
What should you even be expecting? If you have a vision for your life, this is what I'm thinking, but now you have someone like, oh, this is outside view now. This is where we could go.
Well said. When we come back, what could we be doing better to help men in society in general and men helping other men too? Enjoy.
I'ma rule the world, yeah.